Mr. X here. A couple things going on. So first of all, I put on my underwear backwards, and then after that I put my pants on backwards. So thank God it's a Sunday and I'm trying to relax. But the other thing going on is the camera might look crooked, and that's where I'm confused. Staring at it, it looks crooked. However, the leveler says it's good. So if you're watching this and it's crooked, just do this for the rest of the review. Last thing going on, I have this piece here, and this is not a new piece out in the market. This is not a new piece to me, so you're probably wondering why am I reviewing it. Well, this is part of my sell-off. So I have a number of videos I've been filming lately because I'm selling off a bunch of basic older pieces for different reasons. But before I do, I wanted to give them a review. So buckle up, let's do it. This is the Xtreme channel, and today we are reviewing Sideshow's Heath Ledger Joker Premium Format from the Dark Knight film. So this was made by Sideshow Collectibles, and this is, as I said, from the Dark Knight, the second installment of the revamp of the Batman movies with Christian Bale. This came out quite a while ago, and I've had it for a while, but as I said in the intro, I'm reviewing it because I'm actually selling it off. I'm selling it off for a number of reasons. First, I just need to make some space because I have so much other stuff coming in. I currently own 4 Jokers. Here's a picture of all of them. I'm probably going to be using this as the thumbnail. Second reason, I actually have more Jokers coming in. The first one I have coming in is actually the new Sideshow Heath Ledger. Right here in the jail cell. I like it because it's sitting down. I also have 2 from the 1989 Batman film. Here's a custom quarter scale Jack statue as the Joker. And then I have one of him as the Mime. And then also one more I currently own, which I've done a review on, is the Queen Studios Heath Ledger. Here's a picture of it right here. And at this point, Infinity Studios and Prime One with Blitzway have announced they're doing another 1/3 scale Heath Ledger, so I'll probably be picking up one of those as well. So that's why I want to sell this guy off, because let's face it, Heath Ledger was probably the greatest villain of all time. I'm a big Joker fan just because he's so maniacal, he's so crazy, he's so scary, to be honest with you. But Sideshow made these. They made 5,000 of these. So they're very common, and I'm probably going to lose money when I sell it, even though I got a pretty good deal on it, because they made 2 different versions. The first version is what they call the collector's version, and that they made 3,500 of those. And this is the collector's version. It comes just like this, has everything that's going on here. Then the exclusive version, which they made 1,500 of them, has an alternate switch out for this left hand. The alternate switch out, here's a stock photo right here, is the detonator that they used in the movie. Now traditionally it's always better to get the exclusive because it's better for resale value, but to me I didn't really care about that part. That was the detonator they used on the boats. He did try and do it in the end when Batman was holding him, but they had disconnected everything, so that's not really a big deal for me that I don't have that, and plus I'm selling him anyway. Let's get dimensions on him really quick. So these are not exact dimensions. For exact dimensions, go to Sideshow's website, but it looks like it's probably about 11 inches wide, about the same deep. And height-wise, he's a little over 18 inches. For exact dimensions, go to Sideshow's website. One thing I really like about him, so he is a premium format, which is what Sideshow calls their quarter scale characters. So quarter scale means it's 1/4 the size of a real life person. And he doesn't take up a lot of space, which as collectors, if you've watched my channel before, you know space is the enemy of collectors. Another reason that I'm selling him off. Let's jump into the concept and design of this guy now that we have that information. You know what? I joked you. See what I did there? We're not going to do concept and design yet. It's been so long ago since I assembled him, but the base is one piece. The flames are separate pieces. Joker minus his portrait. And his portrait is two pieces we're going to talk about in the design. And his hands. You have to put all that together. Now, let's do concept and design. Or will we? Anyway, there's some things with both the concept and the design of this piece that are really, really cool, and some I think they could have done much better. So first of all, when you were creating an iconic character, and especially one who is, you know, passed away now, especially young, you've got to knock it out of the park. And I think Sideshow did some really good things, but I don't think they knocked it out of the park. So let's talk a few of them, just the concept here. So starting, you know, at the base, I like the fact that they chose the street. It's a street with flames on it, which really doesn't tie to the movie. They should have tied it to the movie. There is that famous ESPN alert. There is that famous scene when he's fighting Batman on the Bat bike. So I think this was supposed to tie into there, especially with the gun. The detonator wouldn't have made any sense, but his pose is just weird as shit. And I think that is where they missed on the concept. I don't understand why he'd be standing like that, why he'd be holding out a card. Obviously, this is what they call a museum pose, kind of like he's standing there ready for a picture. But it just doesn't work for me personally. But this being the only representation of Heath Ledger, you know, quarter scale out there, it's not a bad piece. Design-wise, I think they missed a few things as well. So first, the flames just don't make sense. They don't make sense. I mean, I know he wants to watch the world burn, but his clothes should be on fire. So that doesn't make sense. Where some of these sit in, they don't sit in the best. They're kind of loose. So I think that's a miss. His mixed media, I'm good with the mixed media, which we'll talk a little bit about more later. But they made his head in two separate pieces, which you rarely see. So the hair goes on the back. I assume this is for breakage purposes, but it does leave a nasty seam, in my opinion. Here it is. Now the hair does help mask it some, but I'm not sure why they couldn't do that as one piece. So overall, you know, I think they got the last thing about the concept. I think the likeness is okay. I think it's better than okay, but I don't think it's great. I think where they missed was the makeup, as you're going to see in the paint, isn't as splotchy as it should be in the movie, especially if he's in a battle scene. And his expression is just weird. I know he made this expression a few times in the movie, but that's not Joker. He doesn't look scary. And Heath Ledger, 90% of the time, you were scared of him. So I think that's the overall misses of this piece. That's why you can traditionally get it for pretty cheap. Let's jump into the paint and sculpt, where I think there's a lot of good things going on. I think they did a very good job. A few misses here and there, but overall, I am impressed. Starting at the bottom part of the base, the sub base here, it's this metallic aspect, and I don't know why they chose that, but one thing I absolutely love about it is the bullet holes that they have all over it. It has about 4 different sides that the concrete's not covering up, and it's riddled with bullet holes. Some of them all together in a bunch, some of them separated. Very nice job, kind of cool. And the paint on this looks good. It pops. It's not flat. It's well done. The concrete itself, I do dig it. I like the texture on it. I like the concrete paint, the grays and the blacks and the white stripe. I think they did a great job. Right around the flames on the concrete, you're going to see some orange paint that's trying to show that the flame has moved over. That's a big miss. It looks stupid. They shouldn't have done that. And then speaking of the flames look horrible. They look like pieces of hair that are flowing in the wind, and the paint job on them doesn't look good. They should have been a more translucent resin or darker like they did on their Thor Breaker of Brimstone, and then they have these black lines towards the top. They should have left the flames off the base completely. In my opinion, it does not add to the statue, and unfortunately there's big holes where they are, so you have to keep them on there. You know, as we talk about Joker, and especially about paint and sculpt, the only really paint and sculpt we can see are the shoes, hands, accessories, and the head, because the rest is the mixed media clothes, which the mixed media clothes looks fantastic. I think it's great likeness on him. One of the things, we're going to start at the feet like we usually do, but he has what I call on fucking clown shoes.
What buzz?
The internet buzz.
What the fuck is the internet?
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together to bitch about movies and share pornography with one another. Here's what we're looking for, moviepoopshoot.com.
Poop shoot. Yeah.
This is a site populated by militant movie buffs, sad, pathetic little bastards living in their parents' basement, downloading scripts and what they think is inside information about movies and actors they claim to despise yet can't stop discussing. 2 cents. For example, we got a guy here with the chick magnet net handle Wampa1 opining on what he thinks about Bluntman and Chronic. He says, Bluntman and Chronic and their stupid alter egos, Jay and Silent Bob, only work in small doses, if at all. They don't deserve their own movie. He's got a point.
Fuck him. What's the next one say?
This is entitled Fuck Them Up Their Stupid Asses. Bluntman and Chronic is the worst comic I ever read. Jay and Silent Bob are stupid characters, a couple of stoners who spout dumbass catchphrases like a third-rate Cheech and Chong or Bill and Ted. Fuck Jay and Silent Bob. Fuck them up their stupid asses.
Who the fuck said that shit?
He calls himself a Magnolia fan. All right, here, check this one out. Jay and Silent Bob are one-note jokes that only stoners laugh at. They're fucking clown shoes. If they were real, I'd beat the shit out of them for being so stupid.
They're bozo shoes. They're huge. They are way oversized. I'm just checking my foot. Yeah, they're about twice as big as his hand is, so that'd mean I would have feet this big, which I do have large feet. I'm not going to show you because that's weird, but let's look at them. So here's the shoes. His shoes are sculpted. They are not mixed media like the rest of him, and I think they look fantastic other than the size. It's kind of these leather suede shoes, and like I said, they do look like clown's shoes, which I haven't looked at the movie to see what he's wearing, but the other thing is, I don't know if these are slip-ons because there are some laces, but there's no ties, but some stitching on the side and different weathering. The size kind of throws me off, but otherwise I like them. And then let's look at his mixed media pants. Here's some cool stitching. You see on the classic Heath Ledger or any Joker purple, that's all over. The white stitching going up and down the sides. Looks pretty cool. You get a little glimpse of his socks too, the colored socks he had in the movie. Definitely adds to the character. And then his jacket looks great, and there's some wires in there in the bottom part, so you can actually bend it and it's posable, which is fantastic. It's this suede type material. They did a great job on it. The inside lining, you can see it on the bottom, and the sleeves is orange. And then his vests and jackets that he's wearing, the green and gray and the tie, looks great. I think they just did a great job. I'm not a fan of mixed media on the statue, but I like this a lot. It'll be interesting to see what the new pieces, the 1/3 scales coming out, actually have. And then his gloves, great sculpt on the gloves here. Leather, different, almost purplish black gloves. Looks great, looks like real gloves. Too often when they sculpt gloves, they make them look like hands, but these look like real gloves. The stitching on there. He has the Joker card, and it's actually an evil Joker card. It's they've ripped someone's head off. You have to look pretty close. I like that they added this, but again, it kind of messes with the concept and design. They did a great job with the gun on the other hand. And I believe this is the same gun he was using during the scene on the street I was talking about earlier where he was trying to shoot Batman. Some cool detail in it. And then lastly, starting at his neck here, so that's really the only area you can see his flesh tones at. It's good looking flesh tones. A little bit tanner. Not much going on in the sculpt. And then check out his hair. You know, we saw the close-up earlier. It looks like spaghetti noodles, green spaghetti noodles, and there's some other colors in there besides green, some blacks and other aspects to it. But his hair was kind of crazy in all the different scenes in the movie. I think his hair is incredibly hard to get right. That was my one complaint with the Queen Studios bust. Then his ears, they have some paint on them, but then you see some of the flesh tones. This is where I think they missed it on the face. Is it's a little bit of a mix, so it's kind of messy. Where it's not messy on the face, but it was in the movie. So it looks good. And then starting at his forehead, so I like how it's messy on his forehead. You see some imperfections, you see some flesh tones behind it, especially where it's blotted up by his hair. There's even some white on his hair. So they did a good job with that. Then you see the wrinkle lines in his forehead, good sculpt. The black around his eyes. His eyes look okay. They look a tiny bit crossed, but it's just not scary to me. I think that's where they really missed out on this statue. And same thing with the scars around his mouth. The red looks like lipstick. It doesn't look like the pink scars that he had in the movie. It looks like he just continued his lipstick from his mouth all the way around his scars. Good detail on his chin with the sculpt. So it is a really cool piece, and especially at the price you can get it at, with lately in the statue game, things have been going through the roof. So I'm putting this one up for sale. I may or may not have aired some other videos of stuff I'm putting up for sale, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to air a video, and I'm going to say this every time, of all the stuff I'm selling with pricing. So I'm going to do that. Some of these may or may not have aired already, but I'm going to try and sell them on the YouTube channel first because I know a lot of people have been asking for some of them before I go to Facebook forums and eBay. But very cool piece. Let me know which Heath Ledger you are most looking forward to the reveal, because I think there's another bust coming out as well by Infinity Studios, if I'm not mistaken. But are you looking forward most to Sideshow's new piece that they've shown the prototype, Infinity Studios, Blitzway, or Queen Studios? Lots of studios going on. And Blitzway is in collaboration with Prime 1 Studios. So really appreciate you guys watching, and until next time, take care.